I hope everybody is having a super fantastic sparkling day. Oh, also happy Hanukkah too, because then that starts tonight, I think. Or is it tomorrow night? Should have checked that. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1973. I get to cross that one off. Merry Christmas. I'm Helen Brahms coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. There's little Zeffie over there. She's been doing really well. We've had no seizures today. We had no seizures yesterday. But we ended up watching Santa and Pete at 6:30 this morning. We started watching that while we were warding off the seizure process this morning. But anyway, this is our first time on the computer today. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing today. All it is has been a PJ. We've been wearing our PJs. Well, I've been wearing my PJs all day and just snacking on food throughout the day. Zeffie has been nibbling at food throughout the day too, which is awesome. We've had the back door open almost all day. And she's just been coming in and out as she wants to. And we had a really good day. We watched we watched Santa and Pete from 1999 with James Earl Jones in it. It was awesome as usual. Love that movie. The Holiday with Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz, Jude Law, and Jack Black. Oh, I put Blake on there. Sorry, Jack. I got your name wrong. I'm going to have to go back and change that piece. Then we watched Red One, which was brand new out this year with Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans and Lucy Liu and J.K. Simmons. I have to tell you, I had no expectations on that movie. If you're on Prime, there are no commercial breaks in that movie. It was actually really good. I was surprised. I mean, the trailers looked pretty good, and sometimes in trailers they show you the best bits, but that was a really good movie. I actually enjoyed it. Good action in it too. Yeah, and then I followed that with and that one came out this year. So if you haven't seen Red One yet, it is available on Prime as part of your Prime membership. So please go watch it. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun. Max Lucado's The Christmas Candle from 2013 was next. Love that movie. Love that movie. All about the spirit of Christmas and Christmas miracles and everything else. It was awesome. And you get to hear Susan Boyle Boyle sing with her incredible angelic voice. It was just absolutely stunning. Then we watched Last Christmas from 2019, which is all based around George Michael and Wham music. Hence the name of the movie. And actually, Emma Thompson wrote it, produced it, and starred in it as well. And she's awesome. Love that woman. And we're in the middle of watching Christmas Jars from 2019, which is based on the best-selling book, Christmas Jars. And it's a really cool movie. We just started watching it and then we realized what the time was. I thought, we better get up in here and get in here. So we've seen Christmas Jars, Last Christmas, Christmas Candle, Red One, The Holiday, and Santa and Pete. 6 movies. Well, 5 and a bit. 5 and a bit movies we've seen so far today. We did have like a break between. We started Santa and Pete at 6:36 this morning, and it's a 90-minute movie. So we finished it an hour and a half later. By that stage, Zeffie's up walking around. We had bypassed the seizure stage, so we were awesome. And then we just bummed around. I hard-boiled some eggs that I forgot to do yesterday. Did some other bits and pieces around the house. We have stayed off social media completely today. And my phone's been dinging all day with messages coming in and everything else. So if I have not got back to you yet, that's why. We just unplugged today and just watched Christmas movies. We snoozed. So we had like a 1.5 hour to 2 hour break between Santa and Pete and the holiday. I think it was The Holiday, which is our next movie. We could have put another movie in there, but I sort of thought, well, okay, I've got to get the eggs done. I want to get those done. We've got to have breakfast. We didn't have breakfast at that point. And we just did a couple of chores around the house and had a snooze. It was Christmas Day. We could do whatever we wanted to. We did go for a walk as well. We went for a mini walk today, which Zeffie was sort of like, yeah, I want to go for a mini walk. Yeah. Remember, I have to keep a very energetic dog down to a slow walk when we go out so that she doesn't raise her, doesn't have her blood sugars drop, which is very hard to do when she's very excited about the fact we get to go for a walk. Yay. So we're going to be doing one after we do with this as well. And so, yeah, we just had a nice quiet day at home and made my little charcuterie boards every now and again. It was on a dinner plate. Got dessert sitting in the fridge. But But yeah, it's just been a very nice, quiet day of doing nothing much and just watching Christmas movies and just hanging out. Yeah, Zeph and I just hung out. We actually had a great day today. We enjoyed it. Yeah, we don't have any Christmas decorations to take down because we didn't put any up. So yeah, she stretched out on the floor. She's had an exhausting day. But she was constantly in and out, in and out, in and out of the house. And it was like 69 degrees Fahrenheit. What's the conversion on that one? 69 Fahrenheit to see. 20 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius. So yeah, 20 degrees Celsius, 69 degrees Fahrenheit. That was our high today. And we basically had the back door open almost the entire day. We closed it every now and again. And then Zeffie would go over to it and like nudge at it. And so I'd go open it up again for her. But she would wait 10 minutes after I closed it. She'd be like snuggled down, ready to sleep. So I'll go, she's sleeping. I'll go close it and sit down and start watching movies again. And then she would be like 10 minutes later at the door, like, let me out. And I'm like, seriously? So yeah, so she went in and out all day. It was fine. It was not a problem. So yeah, we've just had a really cool day so far. And we're going to watch Christmas Jars, and we may even squeeze in one more movie tonight. Yeah, based on what time we get back from the walk, because we still have probably an hour left on the Christmas Jars. Actually, it's a 90-minute movie. We've seen 20 minutes of it, so we've still got 70 minutes, so just over an hour to see. So we may get another movie in tonight. I don't know. Somebody's restless and wants to go for a walk. She's been in her chair, she's been on the mat, she's been in her bed, now she's back on the chair again in 6 minutes. You want to go for a walk, Zeph? Yeah? Oh, and she had her final advent calendar treat earlier. It was this big piece of chicken jerky. That lasted all of 10 minutes, but it went down. Oh, that was the other thing too. I boiled chicken breast for her as well, so she got some of that too, mixed in with her food. That did not last long at all. So she's been having lots of little meals throughout the day, which has been awesome. So that's helped keep her blood sugar levels up. She's rested a lot too, which has helped. And we're trying to stop that spike of getting too much food in her at once, where her blood sugar levels will actually do bottom out unless it's got a lot of glucose in there. So it's a delicate, we're finding that balance. We're finding the balance. But anyway, it has been a really cool Christmas day for us here. How has your Christmas been? Let's see, what's our question for today? What traditions from your family's past bring light and meaning to your holiday celebrations today? I was trying to think what our family traditions were, as little as possible on the day. Mum basically would have everything all ready to go. So on the day and I was speaking with Mum and Dad yesterday and my brother and sister-in-law, and on the day there is very little work for anybody to do that day. It's, just pulling stuff out of the refrigerator, putting it on the table, basically cold meats and salads. Sometimes we'd have the grill going and Dad would grill chops and sausages, but basically it was just a day of rest and relaxation. If us kids got a new game for Christmas, we played that. We figured it out and played it. So we're playing board games with other toys that we got given. But it was just a nice, quiet family day at home. We're not really going anywhere. Well, 2018, when I was staying with my parents for Christmas, it was a last-minute Christmas, go home for Christmas thing. It was awesome. I actually boarded a ship on December 9th, which was my birthday, and I was on that for, it was a 6-night cruise. It wasn't a full 7-night cruise. I think it was a 6-night cruise. And on the second to last night, I decided I'm flying home for Christmas. So that's like the 15th. The 15th, I was deciding I was flying home for Christmas. So I called up my contact at Down Under Answers and asked them to get me on a flight home. What was it going to cost? They came back and said, well, we can get you economy class in New Zealand. It's going to cost you, it was over $5,000 return trip, because it's peak season at that time of the year down in New Zealand. And so I was sort of like, but she says, but if you go Fiji Airways, you do have to stop over in, I think it was Suva. It's either Suva or Nandi. We had to stop at the airport there. Had a layover there, and she says, and I can get that for you for like, I think it was like $2,200 or $2,300. I was, yeah, let's book that. I'd never flown Fiji Airways before. It was a fantastic flight. And I said, if you can get me a window seat, knowing that this was next to impossible because it was a last minute booking, I said, if you can get me a window seat, that would be awesome. I had a window seat on the way down there. I had a window seat on the way home. It was just, and $2,300. Got me from all the way up to, got me into Auckland, and then a connecting flight down to Wellington where my parents met me. And I told them not to tell my brother I was coming home, and we went and surprised him the next day. That was the best surprise ever. I'm known as the queen of surprises in my family. I can pull them off very well. My dad my dad is very, very hard to surprise. He kind of figures things out. And I think that's where I got skills like that from with my dad, was how to figure things out. Because it's hard to surprise me at times. I kind of like notice things going on. Yeah. And so it's very hard to surprise them, but they actually got to be part of springing the surprise, which they were absolutely delighted about. And I could tell by the looks on their faces that they were kind of really happy to be involved with one of my surprises. So Mum had to keep it a secret. So that was on, let's see, that was, we bought it on the 9th. We got off the ship on the 16th. I flew back home because I was in Fort Lauderdale or Miami. One of those two. Flew back home from there to San Diego, and then got home on, like, I think it was a Sunday, and Wednesday I was flying down to New Zealand. I got there on Friday because you lose a day going down to New Zealand. This is how, if you don't like celebrating your birthdays, the way to skip your birthday is fly east across the international date line and you lose a day. So you leave on the eve of your birthday, you arrive in New Zealand, Australia, Japan, and it's the day after your birthday. Just don't turn your phone on because back in the States, it's still your birthday. So that's how you skip your birthday. Anyway, so I got down there on the Friday. Saturday, we went over to my brother's place, and Dad's, now you got to remember, opposite sides of the car. So Dad's driving in the seat over here. Mum's in here. I'm sitting behind her in the passenger. She's in the passenger seat. I'm sitting behind her. For those in the States, that would be, Mum would be sitting where the steering wheel would be here in the States. Okay. Just so you know how the arrangement goes. So they text my brother to say, hey, we've got, we're stopping by. We've got some stuff for you. When we get there, can you come down and help us get it out of the car? And they're like, yeah, okay. And my brother has a camera that looks down over a security camera that looks over his work truck and everything. And so I was like, oh, this is going to, but of course we're coming up with my dad on the side closest to my brother's house. And so they get out, and this was unplanned about how they did this. They got out of the car and went to the front of the car, which allowed me room to get out of the back of the car and come around the back of the car. So my brothers and his wife are standing with their back to me. And I just turned around and went, hello. And they turned around. My brother immediately came over and went, whoomp, and starts crying. And my sister-in-law standing there like, and then all of a sudden she starts going, up, 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 up. These noises start coming out of her mouth as her mouth starts to work. And meanwhile, I'm just hugging my brother really, really tight, and because we hadn't seen him for a while. And so, yeah, that was my Christmas surprise. And then, of course, on Sunday, I got to go to church with my parents, and they're introducing me to all of their friends and everything else. And they're like, we didn't know your daughter was coming over. Mum says, I was sworn to secrecy. She said, we only found out on, what day did they find out? They found out on Saturday. So they found out the week before that I was coming down. So they said, we only found out on Saturday, and we've had to keep it quiet because she wanted to surprise her brother. And that's how, so Mum was all excited about how that went, just telling the story about that and everything else. So it was a short trip home, but yeah, I stayed till after my dad's birthday, which is the beginning of January. And we had a great time. I was there for 2 weeks, I think it was. Either 2 or 3 weeks I was down there. But it was an awesome time. Got to catch up with family and stuff, and totally surprised everybody. Nobody in the family knew I was coming because we had to keep it from my brother so I could surprise him. And it was a really good Christmas back home in New Zealand. So, yeah. But Mum was really excited. And I even sent a text message down to my parents saying, I just sent you guys an email, and Dad, you may want to turn your hearing aids off. Because I knew my mother would scream. And my mother was, I do not scream. And I was like, do you want me to pull out the video of when Brad and I came in 24 hours early? And she says, I did not scream then. And she says, oh, what are you doing here? I says, that's not how I recall it. Would you like me to pull up the video of that? That one was priceless too. My aunt and uncle were in on it, and my dad's youngest brother. And so they helped smuggle us into the motel where we were going to be staying, and we stayed the night. We'd already called the people at the motel and told them what the situation was, and can we get a room there? And because Mum and Dad, this was a favorite motel of theirs to stay in. It's now a senior living place now, which is a shame because it was a really good motel. And Mum and Dad basically had this 2-bedroom house, which was their motel room, and it was two bedrooms. Like the main bedroom had a king size bed in there and one or two singles. The other room had a queen bed and one single in there. And then there was a pull out couch in the living room area, and they had a kitchen and a bathroom. And but we were in one of the motel units. And the motel unit we could see had a window that looked at their one. So we were watching them pull up, and my aunt and uncle were like, get away from the window, Helen, get away from the window. And so when I booked that, I called the motel and told them who I was and that my parents had booked in with them, and they were actually coming to meet me at the airport. But we were coming in 24 hours early. Do they have a room that we could stay in that night? And they're like, absolutely, definitely, yep, not a problem. So they were all in on it. So we're calling the motel to say, okay, we're on. My aunt and uncle are bringing me over now. Are we clear? And they're like, yep, your parents haven't shown up yet. And they said, this is where you go when you get into the motel. Come to this one here and park there, and we'll meet you at the door and take you straight into your unit. So they were all in on it, and they were absolutely delighted to help us as well. And so they were there, and they saw us pull up, and they're like, "Oh, are you Helen?" I said, "Yeah." So we quickly ran in, and then my aunt and uncle put our bags in later on. But we got in, and we were there probably about 30 minutes before Mum and Dad showed up, I think it was. But we were all sitting there, Brad's having a shower. We decided to have, we go and have a shower and everything, and finished wrapping up the Christmas presents that we had, and while waiting for Mum and Dad to arrive, and we had the curtains pulled on that side so they couldn't see into the room, and I'm like peeking out through, oh, look, they're here. And they're like, get away from the window, they'll see you. I'm like, no, we're okay. I'm looking through the thing, they can't see me, and totally surprised them that night, because my aunt and uncle were supposed to be coming over for dinner with my parents that night anyway. And to get to there, now they parked the car up against this, they had a wall that was next to them, and they had to go up these about 5 or 6 steps on this platform where their motel room was. And they had a bay window in their living room area that overlooked where our motel room was. And so like, oh, wow, we're going to get up there. And so my aunt and uncle had planned to go over there earlier. And they said, give us about 10 to 15 minutes. We're like, okay. And so we waited about 10 minutes, and they were going to occupy my parents to keep their view off the window. Now, my brother and his girlfriend and their 2 boys had arrived as well. Oh, and 2 boys and their daughter had arrived. And and so, of course, my aunt and uncle are having to keep these guys all occupied with no view on the window. And Brad's coming up behind me. And Brad's, 6'5". I get down on the floor. I crawl past the bay window to get ready to jump into the doorway. And Brad sort of like bends over double. But, of course, you could see him going. He's 6'5". You couldn't miss him. The bay window was too low for him to get underneath it. But he comes up with the camera behind me, and I go in and I go, hello. And I look at my aunt, and she goes, they're down there. And so we go running down the hall to the second bedroom, because my uncle said, oh, just show, what's this place? Can I have a look around? And they're like, yeah, sure, come and have a look around. And so we walked into the bedroom where they were, and I went, hello. And my mum turns around and goes, oh, what are you doing here? Yeah, screams it all out and everything else. And my nephew was sort of like, we were wanting to come to the airport tomorrow to meet you, Auntie Helen. And I was like, yeah, but we got on the plane, and we told the pilot that we had very important people waiting to meet us. Could they just step on it? And he stands and puts his hands on his hips and goes, yeah, right. He was not buying that story at all. But that was really cool. It was the first Christmas we had in New Zealand with Brad. So that was, I think 2004, I think that was. No, 2004, they were up here. Yeah, somewhere around there. 2004, I think it was. It was a really good Christmas anyway. We've had a lot of, I enjoyed taking Brad back for Christmas and having Christmas down in New Zealand. So next year we'll be coming to you live from New Zealand. So that'll be really cool as well. Well, with that, hope you've all had a super fantastic, sparkling Christmas day. And for those of you celebrating Hanukkah, is it tonight that it starts or tomorrow night? I think it's tonight, because tomorrow's day 1 of Hanukkah, and you start at sunset. So happy Hanukkah for all my Jewish family and friends. Merry Christmas to everybody else. Happy Kwanzaa tomorrow for those that celebrate Kwanzaa. But for today, we've had a great Christmas day. It's been nice. It's been relaxing. It's been slow paced. We've kept away all the seizures for now. So I'm hoping that we can do the same for the rest of the week. She goes back to the vet on Friday, and we'll give you guys an update when we find out more then. So thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in this year for us. We'll talk about that next week, because next week it's going to be It's going to be not Christmas Eve, New Year's Day this time next week. So with that, go out, have a super fantastic sparkling rest of your Christmas Day or Hanukkah, and we will catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. He konara.